Greetings to all you there in Washington and around the world. While I wish that I could attend today's meeting in person, I am delighted to have this virtual opportunity to share a few thoughts with you. The Global Food Policy Report offers a great example of the important role that IFPRI plays in delivering groundbreaking research and analysis which helps shape the global food security and nutrition agenda. Under the leadership of my friend and colleague, President Shingen Fan, the relationship between WFP and IFPRI has never been stronger. As an example of the value of this effective relationship between our two organizations, President Fan and I co-authored a chapter included in this year's Global Food Policy Report. This chapter is dedicated to the issue of hunger and malnutrition in middle-income countries. The financial growth of Brazil, China, India, Indonesia, and Mexico now rank them among the world's leading economic powers. The good news highlighted in the report is that the rapid economic growth in these now middle-income countries over the past 20 years has led to unprecedented achievements in reducing hunger and poverty. For instance, since 1990, hunger has been reduced in Brazil by almost 2/3, and in China and Indonesia by more than 1/2. The more challenging news is that the majority of the world's hungry and malnourished population now live in middle-income countries. Close to half the world's hungry, or 363 million people, live in these 5 countries alone. Prosperity and urbanization have also led to the emergence of the double burden of malnutrition in many of the world's emerging economies, as high levels of undernutrition exist alongside increasing rates of overweight and obesity brought about by shifting demographics, changes in diets, lack of awareness of good nutrition, and more sedentary lifestyles. In spite of the opportunities that economic growth provides for improving the quality of life for populations around the world, persistent or rising inequalities across wealth, gender, and access to education add to the burdens of hunger and malnutrition. Economic progress must be accompanied by sustained investments for the most vulnerable from both governments and international partners to reduce these inequalities and improve access to healthy, nutritious food. We know from experience that the eradication of hunger cannot be achieved through economic growth alone. The international community will not realize our ambitious international agenda of achieving zero hunger and malnutrition without a renewed focus on middle-income countries. As we transition into an historic era of development cooperation with the adoption of the Sustainable Development Goals later this year, it's critical that we move beyond the conceptual frameworks and policy prescriptions of the past. If we are serious about eliminating global hunger, we must begin by recognizing that the world we live in has changed. Achieving zero hunger requires that we not only focus on the least developed countries, we must also address the challenges of the vulnerable and hungry poor, regardless of their geographic location. With this in mind, President Fan and I have outlined a number of policy priorities that must be addressed if we are to achieve sustainable improvements in food security and nutrition in middle-income countries. I am pleased to say the governments and leadership of many middle-income countries are now working with WFP and other organizations to address these challenges highlighted in this report. It is my sincere hope that our contribution to the global dialogue on hunger and malnutrition in middle-income countries will translate into more effective, country-led strategies for achieving zero hunger in the historic post-2015 Sustainable Development Agenda. I congratulate you on the launch of this landmark publication. I also wish you the very best with what I'm certain will be a series of enlightening discussions today.